Okay, in question 6, we were given these two functions, and question 6.1.1 to 6.1.3, we were asked to find these three respective coordinates. And question 6.1.4 is more of a visual question, would you say? And this is determine the values of x for which g double prime of x is greater than 0. So this is g double prime of x, and this is g of x, sorry, and we need to find for which values g double prime of x, so its second derivative will be greater than 0. So to do this, I'm going to just draw a little sketch here. So we have g of x like this, and then I'm going to draw a corresponding derivative function. So this is, let me move that up rather. Yeah, so this is g of x, and this is g prime of x. So at our turning point here on g, the derivative, if you were to think of a little tangent there, the derivative's gradient is going to be 0. So we're going to have a cut there. And then if you were to imagine to draw derivatives all along this line, you can see that they are negative, but they're becoming less negative. So they're becoming less steep as they approach the 0. So what that means is in our derivative function, it's going to be a negative line approaching the 0 value, where the derivative is becoming less negative. So remember, this point here is more negative, this point here is less negative, etc. And then from the turning point onwards, if you were to imagine to draw the tangents, notice how they now suddenly are positive and they become more steep, which is illustrated by this. It's a straight line. They become positive and they become more steep. Okay, that's maybe not the best diagram. I'd like to extend this line a bit further up, but I hope you get the idea. So when it's reaching this turning point, the derivative functions are negative. They have a negative gradient, but their gradients become less and less and less and less until they eventually reach 0. And then from the turning point onwards, they become positive, and they become more and more positive as the x values increase. Okay, so what does that mean for g double prime of x? Well, this is just a straight line. So if we were to take the derivative at any point, if we were to take the derivative of g prime of x at any point, it will give us a constant. And that constant would be the gradient of g prime of x. And notice how g prime of x is a positive straight line. So therefore, g double prime of x is greater than 0 for x an element of R. Or you could write that as negative infinity to infinity.